Ability. Ability. Ability is nothing but the skill to do anything. The ability is nothing but proficiency in any particular area. The ability is nothing but natural tendency evolved in human brain. The way to find the hidden capability is nothing but ability. Most brilliant achievement is to perceived ability to find out hidden powers. In this illuminated world, the dexterity can justify your latent potentiality. Inner is the creator, outer is the creation. Inner is the ocean, outer is the wave. Inner is the unknown, outer is the known. Inner is subconscious, outer is the conscious. Inner is multidimensional, outer is three-dimensional. Inner is the mind, outer is the body. The brain is most powerful organ human possess. Although we all have a hugely powerful potential offered by our brain, we spend very little practicing our thinking skills. We believe that thinking is natural function and the ability to use this underused potential. Life is mysterious. Its secrets are vast and many. Do you know that human brain takes up to 1/5 of all the energy generated by your body in its resting state? It's similar to 20-watt light bulb continuously glowing. If you can imagine it, your brain consists of 100 billion cells, each one of which connects to 1,000 other brain cells, making a total of 100,000 billion connections. We all know that the brain is most requested organ of contemporary human. It is said that we use only 3 to 10% of its capacity consciously. The rest of 90 to 97% is used by us subconsciously.
Psychodynamically, we try to categorize it as conscious, subconscious and unconscious. It is likened to a iceberg, where what is visible on the iceberg is the conscious, what is partly visible is the subconscious, and what is not visible is the unconscious, and what is not visible is 20 times greater than what is partly visible. So to that extent, what we do is influenced by the unconscious greatly, but because we are unable to know or get into our unconscious, subconscious is a kind of a via media between the unconscious and the conscious. Now this is just a theoretical supposition. There is no specific area called this is a conscious, this is a subconscious, and this is the unconscious. So there is no physical dimension as such. It's only a kind of a theoretical explanation which provides us some idea about what could be conscious, what could be subconscious.
Subconscious mind is basically a technique where the brain is trying to record the minute to minute things. Even though our normal mind, basically the mind which is conscious mind, does not understand these things. It's not working on this method. But the subconscious mind is actually recording everything and trying to put it inside. Subconscious mind will work as our experience. When we are trying to grow up, suddenly somewhere the subconscious mind will come up and tell that, see, this thing, somewhere it happened, so be careful. But we don't even understand that where it happened, what happened also we don't know, but it is actually recording that. The conscious mind is the mind which is actually recording what is happening now. There are many techniques in opening the subconscious mind, basically in martial arts. Martial arts is an excellent method to open up the subconscious mind. When you do some traditional martial arts, which is actually more difficult forms, there is a lot of coordination between your leg movements, hand movements, and brain and all these things. When you practice this kind of martial arts, the subconscious mind starts really becoming very strong. So they basically say that Zen meditation. So subconscious mind is a very good technique. The Zen meditation works really good for subconscious mind. So when you start, just sit in one place, gaze at a wall. don't do anything, just look at the wall and keep gazing at the wall for at least 1 minute to 2 minutes. That's more than enough. So slowly increase it for 5 minutes, and you'll see that your subconscious mind starts becoming really strong and your focus starts increasing really good. Psychic powers are the abilities of the brain, which is actually the brain, due to some exercises and due to the certain methods, the brain starts getting certain psychic powers. And actually, these are the psychic powers. Many people think that there are some supernatural powers which a person is having, but there is nothing to think about a supernatural powers as such. The psychic powers are something which is being developed, which are there in the human body by itself, in the brain. But only the thing is, because we are not tapping that areas, and many people nowadays are trying to experiment on this, and they're coming up with new ideas, and they're coming up with many things which is actually amazing to know that. And literally in the World War II time, at the time of World War II, there are so many people who have done lots of research on this psychic powers. There are many people, there are many intelligence units, there are so many people who have started working on it, and they understood that you can send an electro vibrations into the other person's brain so that the other person will start listening to us, whatever we speak. So there are so many techniques which they used it, and this all comes through psychic powers. And psychic powers is an amazing knowledge which people have forgotten, and it is very difficult for a normal person to understand this.
A psychic is a person who claims to use extrasensory perception to identify hidden information from normal senses.
Extrasensory perception is beyond the typical sensation as such. So, if you have to see, we have to use our eyes. We have to hear, we have to use our ears. So like that, there are specific sensory organs through which we are able to get information from the environment. But the moment we say extrasensory, the sense is not there. The sensory organ is not present. The sensation may or may not be present. But the experience is present. This is to the extent, that is why it is taken in parapsychology and not in psychology. As long as the normal process of sensory organ, sensation, and especially the physical stimuli that is going to affect the sensory organ, what we call irritability, the sensory organ, and then that gets communicated to the brain, is what is studied in psychology. But if there is something absent beyond this, so this is where it comes to parapsychology. I have been doing extensive research in especially these areas where it's not merely extrasensory perception. I am trying to bridge the gap between psychology and parapsychology, where still there is not much of understanding. For instance, let us take dream. In dreams, experience is there, but sense organ is not involved. Do you consider dream as a normal phenomena or a parapsychological phenomena? Is a question that we have to ask. So like this, there are a lot of sensations which do not come under either parapsychology or psychology, but still they are present in us.
Extrasensory perception, also called sixth sense or second sight, which includes claimed reception of information not gained through the recognized physical senses, but sensed with the mind. There are many psychic powers are there, which are classified by its powers.
So psychic ability is classified into two major things. Just like we classify psychology as internal and external, same way parapsychology is also classified as internal and external. In internal we have ESP, which is once again classified into clairvoyance, telepathy and precognition. When it comes to action, when it comes to external overt behavior, we classify it as psychokinesis, the mental ability to move objects.
Telekinesis, the ability to move objects by mind power. Cryokinesis, the ability to manipulate water to ice. Electrokinesis, the ability to manipulate electricity. Pyrokinesis, the ability to manipulate fire. Levitation, the ability to bend the gravity laws. Telepathy, the ability to thought transfer and mind reading. Precognition, which we call sixth sense or merely result of psychic being able to use more of their brain than others. Everyone is born with natural ability of psychic powers. Only a few people know how to unleash it. The term psychokinesis comes from Greek words. Psyche means mind or soul. Kinesis means motion or movement. It is also known as telekinesis. Telekinesis is defined as the ability to move objects by using brain power. Psychic powers are special abilities of consciousness. The psychic powers like telekinesis is not utilized by using any of the 5 physical senses, but rather from a type of frequency that mind produces, which depends on various mental conditions. Telekinetic is a term used to refer a life form capable of utilizing telekinesis. So, at this spot, many of us have a doubt. What is the force in telekinetic? What creates the motion in non-animate objects? The force that creates motion in our body or in the universe are thoughts and vibrations. These are the 2 key elements of telekinesis, and there are 3 fundamentals in telekinesis, nothing but focus, energy, and force. Telekinesis cannot be utilized until all of these fundamentals are developed up to a psychic level.
In my work with telekinesis or psychokinesis, when I teach people, or when I do it myself, or when I teach people to move the object, the key instruction is to relax. Because when the ego gets involved or the ordinary consciousness is trying too hard, it stops. The effect gets very weak or it just stops entirely. And I think at that point when they relax, they're connecting with their superconscious mind or connecting with their subconscious mind, then the object starts moving more. Connecting to those other levels of consciousness is like the gateway to learning how to use those abilities.
Everything in the universe seems to be just vibration. Every atom and every part of an atom of every particle. Even our thoughts and consciousness are just vibrations. Aura can be defined as an electrophonic vibrational response glow of an object. This means that everything around us vibrates with some specific frequency, which it turns to produce light.
Energy is the main thing behind all. The 7 chakras of our body, which represent 7 vibgyor colors. So there is a interlink between these vibgyor colors and our 7 chakras. So when 7 chakras in our body, that we call it as 7 energy centers, when it oscillates, it develops a energy that is called electromagnetic energy, which we call it as aura. We can see a oval shape around human body in different colors, that is vibgyor colors.
Human body produces many different frequencies from various parts of the body. Among them of the most important from our own thoughts. The aura around living things are conscious, such as plants, humans, and even microorganisms. Sometimes aura very quickly enhanced like a flame or hot air around an object.
When we are walking on a street and there is a tree, and the branch is, even though it is very high at height, but when we pass through that branch, we slowly starts bending our head and go forward. Even though it is high, but we feel that our aura is touching that branch.
Professor Banjan from Russia found that the thought appears in the aura before any electrical activity can be detected in brain. Aura around non-living objects such as stone, crystal, and water are fixed. Aura can only be changed with someone's conscious effort.
I think there is an indirect relationship because, and this is my understanding, I'm not a person, I don't see auras visually. I'm more of a feeling person, so I can feel. But some people, they actually see colors. And I think that comes down to people's minds will interpret the aura different ways. Generally, people's auras will be more constricted and tight when they're more stressed out or when they're more in the ordinary consciousness. That when someone is in a more spiritual state or more relaxed or more in their subconscious, the aura expands and becomes more powerful. And so I think the aura can reflect when someone is in more of a psychic state because they are more relaxed, they are more in tune with their deeper nature. So in an indirect way, the aura can reflect if someone is able to access their own psychic abilities more.
History and discovery of aura.
The energy around our body, what we call aura, contains invisible photons. But when we take aura photography, it amplifies the photons to the 100 times.
Buddhist flags represent the auric colors seen around the Buddha. The Tibetan concept of Lesya, which relate colors to mental and emotional states. In India, there is an ancient science called Chaya Shastra, in which aura scanning is used for diagnostics and aura correction is used for healing.
Aura photography is invented by Russian scientist Kirlian, and it is named after him.
In the modern era, Russian scientists have been studying auras through Kirlian photography for over 50 years. In 1939, Semyon Davidovich Kirlian placed an object or body part directly on photographic paper and then passes a high voltage across the object. He would obtain the image of glowing contour around the object, which is aura. This process became Kirlian photography.
With the help of the Kirlian photograph, the visible photons, that is the energy field, is recorded here in visual colors, 7 colors format. So according to the 7 colors, as per the colors whatever it records, we can diagnose his chakras energies, his health status, character, and even attitude also.
The most advanced technology is new compact GDV, which means gas discharge visualization. GDV was invented by Professor Konstantin Korotkov and his research team in 1996. Professor Korotkov book Light After Life, which contains results of an extensive research of human aura after death. One of the important discoveries by Professor Korotkov is the aura continues to change for almost exactly 72 hours after the death of physical body, which indicates conscious activity of mind during that time.
मित्रों, इन दिनों पश्चिम ने खोज की है। वो खोज ये है कि आज सॉफ्टवेयर के माध्यम से, एक प्रोग्राम के माध्यम से, अगर सुबह ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में आपके शरीर पर वो सारे साधन लगा करके वो जांच सकते हैं कि आपके ये जो चक्र हैं वो संतुलित अवस्था में है कि नहीं है। मित्रों, इस योग की हमारे पूर्वजों ने हमें जो विज्ञान दिया है वो दिन दूर नहीं है कि पूरा मेडिकल साइंस करवट बदल देगा। हम देखते हैं कि पुराने जमाने में जब हम भी, हमारे यहाँ कोई संत महात्मा की फोटो हुआ करती थी, कोई भगवान की फोटो हुआ करती थी, तो उसके माथे के आसपास एक बहुत बड़ा तेजो वलय उसका पेंटिंग हुआ करता था। कोई ऐसा महापुरुष नहीं होगा, संत पुरुष नहीं होगा जिसके चित्र में पीछे तेजो वलय का प्रिंटिंग किया ना होगा। कभी कभी लोग मानते थे ये तो एक शोबाजी है, एक शायद एक आर्ट वर्क है, मित्रों, विज्ञान ने स्वीकार किया है कि शरीर के चारों तरफ, हर अंग के चारों तरफ एक ऑरा होता है। उस ऑरा से तय किया जा सकता है। एक साइंटिस्ट ने एक कैमरा की खोज की है, उसको किलियन फोटोग्राफी कहते हैं। अगर उस ऑरा के माध्यम से हम चाहें तो व्यक्ति को 20 साल के बाद किस प्रकार की शरीर में कमियों की संभावना है।
The aura grows when you do other things like meditation or yoga or relaxation or concentration practices. And as that happens, the aura naturally will change to reflect your increasing ability to be in that state.
Aura is not limited to living and non-living things. It is also possessed to devils, which is negative aura or negative energy. Is devil also have some aura?
Devils also has some aura. So devil aura also is recorded in the aura photograph. The software and the camera, they have photographed a ghost in the car. Only trained people can identify that aura through the aura photography. So it may be a negative aura, we don't know.
The auric field is highly connected with your emotional state of mind. Chakra is part of historic medieval era theories about physiology and psychic centers that emerged across the Indian tradition. In energetic realm, each chakra is associated with certain set of emotions, psychic tendencies, and non-sensory forms of perception. The term chakra originated from northern part of India during 12th century. The scriptures on chakras were written in an ancient Indian language called Sanskrit, which is the mother of all Indian languages. According to ancient Hindu mythology, chakras are energy centers located on the surface of auric body. Chakras are the whirlpools in auric body that act as transmitters and receivers of energy from universe. Chakras are the link between physical body and its spiritual counterpart. The chakras keep spinning about their center like hurricane of energy. Each chakra has its own unique frequency of rotation. Each chakra functions independently with the correct frequency at all the times. In order to convert emotions of mind into energy, some kind of machine needs. That process is achieved by chakras. When your body is in need of strength, the universal energy which continuously flows to the spiritual body and the aura. Aura can be considered as a mirror that reveals our present mental, physical, spiritual state. The certain forms of Tai Chi, yoga and meditation improves aura chakra balance.
You can do some breathing, some hard, long-lasting breathing exercises, and you will do telekinesis. Or you could sit very still in meditation, and the result will be telekinesis. It's not the level of your energy. It's the state of your mind, the state of your psyche, like very special state. I feel the central flow that is activating. I feel that my consciousness is going like a bit deep inside myself. So I feel some special changed state. And I feel some kind of connection with this object. It is in the glass bulb, if you see, in the vase. But I feel this connection. I don't use any hands or what, but I feel like I touch this object somehow.
Conscious mind, subconscious mind, aura and chakras in human body are interlinked to each other. While we did telekinesis, it shows change in relevance impact on each one. To prove this, Sean McNamara takes a step to link all these concepts. Sean McNamara teaches psychic powers like telekinesis. He takes his aura photography before and after doing telekinesis. Then we can see the different changes in aura size and color of Sean McNamara. As we discussed earlier, this change in process is not limited to aura, it continues to aura chakra balance also.
और मैं गया था योगा की ट्रेनिंग के लिए एक स्थान पे, 40 दिन मुझे वहां रहना था। मैं बहुत मेरे पुराने समय की बातें कर रहा हूं आपके साथ। और उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि 40 दिन में आपका योगा का जो कुछ भी होगा उसके पूर्व हम आपके ऑरा की फोटोग्राफी करना चाहते हैं। मैंने कहा मुझे खुशी होगी। मैं थोड़ा बहुत किताबों से इन विषयों को मैंने पढ़ा था, जाना था। तो उन्होंने उस वॉशिंग मशीन जैसे इतने बड़े कैमरा पर मेरा अंगूठा रखा और उस पर मुश्किल से 5-7 सेंटीमीटर का ऑरा था। उसकी फोटो निकाली, उस फोटो को रखा। 40 दिन के बाद जब मेरा वो पूरा ट्रेनिंग पूरा हुआ तो फिर वो मुझे कहा गया कि आपको जाने से पहले फिर से एक बार आपका ऑरा का फोटो निकालेंगे। और मित्रों, मैं अपने अनुभव से बताता हूं कि इस मेरी 40 दिन की ट्रेनिंग के पहले जब मैंने ऑरा निकाला तो मुश्किल से 5-7 सेंटीमीटर का ऑरा था और 40 दिन के बाद जब उसी अंगूठे का ऑरा निकाला तो पूरे उस कैमरा के बाहर ऑरा चला गया।
And that was only just several minutes that the change happened. So I went to a place where they do aura photography, and so first I had them take my image without telekinesis. Then I started doing telekinesis, and then they take it, and you could see the change. And it was only 2 or 3 minutes difference, and the aura was different. I think that's because of all the training I did, that my aura can change very quickly because I know how to relax very quickly to produce the effect. So I wasn't trying to change my aura on purpose. It was just naturally changing to reflect that I was changing my state of mind to do the telekinesis.
In relevance to telekinesis, only 2 major chakras play crucial roles.
Chakras are nothing but it is the spine junctions. Junctions in the spine which are actually related to the heart and every part of the body. So when you're doing any kind of technique, the spine is the most important thing, which is actually taking the signals from the brain to the different parts of the body. So what we are trying to do is we are concentrating on it, we are working on it, and we are trying to develop them much more stronger. So what in Indian philosophy they have done it is they have created a chakras according to the points and junctions which are there in the spine. And through that we started developing it. Now, if you see exactly the 7 chakras are on this line of the spine, and the last chakra, if you see, it is there on the brain.
But I do believe that the energy in the body, including the chakras, does have an effect or a relationship with the psychic ability. And one example is when I experiment with doing telekinesis, I notice, for example, sometimes when I focus on the heart chakra or just below, when it gets warm, or it starts to open, suddenly the object starts moving a lot more. I can feel something here changing, and then the object starts to respond. I think the general thing that I notice is as long as I'm relaxed enough, that means I can feel my energy in my body, and that's a good sign that my abilities are opening up.
There are 2 major chakras play crucial role in order to improve psychic powers, which are Bro chakra and Crown chakra. Bro chakra or third eye chakra. The 6th chakra is commonly referred as Bro chakra. Bro chakra is located on forehead between the eyebrows, which yogis refer to as a third eye point. Bro chakra is indigo in color and contain intuition. This is the location of higher perception and psychic abilities. Our mental calculations and thinking process are functions of third eye chakra. We are able to evaluate our past experiences and life patterns and put them into perspective through the wisdom of third chakra actions. It is through a receptive Bro chakra that auric hues and other visual images are intuited clairvoyantly. Crown chakra. The 7th chakra is commonly referred to as the crown chakra, which means the life-giving energy. The location of the crown chakra is located just underneath top of the skull. This is the location of spirituality and the pathway of higher intelligence, which causes positive or negative chi energy production. It is generally considered to be the highest spiritual center and the state of pure consciousness, within which there is neither object nor subject. The emission of spiritual colors of chakras turns into auric colors. Each auric color is related to one related chakra. In 2008, the Institute of Biosensory Psychology under authorship of Vladimir Tankov established the world record, the largest community of people trained telekinesis skills within shortest possible time. It is registered in the Russian Book of Records and Achievements.
You shouldn't try to understand the process. You shouldn't try to, like realize what's going on without any brain, without any logical processes. It's very soft, it's very natural, it's very good feeling. In fact, it's not about tension.
In our area of studies, even children do it. Even children. Absolutely like game, like it is like a lot of fun. So it's different from her approach. Some people use eyesight to move the object. They look at some point and move with their eyesight. Some people use, heart center and like make a stream and move the object. Some people use, Kundalini chakra. Some people breathe a lot and just satiate and higher the level of energy and use.
Yes.
Some people just relax and they have.
You can see it.
It depends.
You can see it on our site and some kind of videos when the person moving elbow, like fingers, tip of the nose, chest, doing something and the object is moving.
Sometimes it looks really funny.
Yes.
But it works.
Sean McNamara teaches psychic powers like telekinesis, lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, and also provides online courses.
You're about to watch me move a can with telekinesis. Here's the can, and when I do this experiment, I have the mask over my face because there's no glass cover in this one. The way I've been working with this, and I'm still really new at it, I'm just moving up from moving tinfoil, is I have this can balanced on a needle that's taped to the end of a pencil. So you can see where I cut out the hole here. So the can is balanced to move with telekinesis. So let's see how I do. This is just the beginning.
He also tried to prove telekinesis in a scientific way.
There's scientific evidence, and I'm using the word evidence instead of proof because they mean very different things. So I don't think anything has even ever been proven. You know, a scientist is very specific about those terms, but there definitely is evidence that they found in the laboratory. So, for example, if you've heard of a man named Dean Radin from the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and other scientists from the Institute of Noetic Science have done a lot of research on the mind's ability to experience things that are going to happen in the future, and also to influence small particles like photons and electrons, to influence them through psychokinesis. So they're able to measure those effects with computers and lasers and electronics and things like that. And they're able to measure the fact that our mind does change physical reality, or it can see changes in physical reality in the future, or it can predict when we're going to see an image in the future, and our body and our subconscious mind already starts responding ahead of time. So they've done experiments like that in the laboratory, and also experiments with energy healing, you know, without touching, just sending your intention, healing intention or loving intention to a patient. So there's a lot of evidence that has been collected over the years. And the problem is there are a lot of skeptics or pseudo-skeptics. They say there's no evidence. And there's a lot of evidence that people they ignore it. They pretend that nobody has ever written a report, that no one has ever done a study. There's many, 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 many reports and meta-studies, statistical evidence. So there's a lot of evidence showing that something does happen with the consciousness. For me, I feel very relaxed. I mean, my style is very, very relaxing. And a bit sometimes when I was learning, and actually, honestly, sometimes when I do experiments these days, if I start pushing too hard, if I try to be very forceful and, you know, just I'm forgetting my own instructions, and I start to get headache or my heart starts hurting a little bit, and then I know I have to stop because I'm doing it wrong. But I'm doing a very gentle style. Some people do very forceful style, very strong. And I don't know, do you know that lady from Russia? Her name was Nina Kulagina. Her style is very forceful. She could do amazing. She could move very objects. There's a book called Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron. Talk about her experience, or that she would, when she would do her experiments, it took 8 hours or longer, and she would lose body weight. She would lose several pounds of weight, and her arms and her legs would be in extreme pain for days afterwards. So I think maybe that's the other way to do it, is being very pushing, very forceful, but I don't think it's worth the risk. I like the opposite way. It's very meditative, very peaceful, very relaxing.
External sources to improve telekinesis. Telekinetic melody, audio tapes, and psychic tablets are external sources to improve psychic powers. Psychic tablets are also known as nootropics. These psychic pills will help you to have a sharp focus in your psychic training, and it improves your meditation level by achieving a deeper level of concentration. These pills can increase your short-term and long-term memory as well. It also gives a boost to your energy levels, improves concentration, gives a push to your brain performance. It brings back your focus and leads to clear mental vision, and nootropics force to the nervous system to stay active. These nootropics contains nutrients like alpha GPC, Hupergen A, L-theanine, Bacopa monnieri, and vinpocetine. When we want to get unique powers easily, then we prepare ourselves to face some problems also.
A lot of medicines, in the sense drugs, are there, which is being used right from older days to even now. But the problem is, once drugs control the person, there is no control over ability. For instance, hallucinogens. Some of the hallucinogens are able to bring in these kind of parapsychological phenomena. But the problem is, there is absolutely no control what the person is experiencing. So we don't talk about these things basically because they are just temporary phenomena. As long as the effect of the drug is there, the ability may be manifested. It is not even an ability because there is no control. There is just experience. The experience could be richer also because of the drug. Once the drug wears off, the experience will stop. But after effects may be there, and then other problems may be there. But still, because none of them are under control, we don't talk about it as an ability.
Because there's two factors. One is could be the placebo effect. And they do this when they're testing medications or testing new procedures. If someone takes a pill and they believe that the pill will make their abilities increase, maybe the pill has no actual power, but because they believe that it will make them more psychic, that confidence helps them relax and helps them just realize their true potential because they believe that the pill will do that. For example, they're testing a new medication, they'll do a test with the actual medication and then a sugar pill that should have no medical influence. And they find out sometimes that people taking that pill, they still get better, that it has the intended effect of the medicine. Because the mind is so strong and the psychology is so strong that if you believe that the pill will do that for you, then it will work. Everyone should be very careful because in this day and age, everybody is selling different psychic product. People selling things promising to make you psychic or to give you special ability, and it's nothing, right? They're just trying to make money, and it's just fake. It doesn't really do anything. So, and the same thing happens here in America. You go to these psychic fairs where people are selling special crystals and lotions and oils and things like that, promising that it will protect you or give you special abilities. And I meet many people who, for them, it works. And it's really not about the product, it's about their own natural ability coming out.
Indian Ayurvedic nootropic techniques. One of the most commonly used supplements throughout the history of Ayurveda has been Bacopa monnieri, which is also known as Brahmi, a herb native to India, which helps to open subconscious mind. Bacopa monnieri plays crucial role to improve brain functions. Traditional Ayurveda medicine noted many benefits of ashwagandha, and modern science has shown anxiety reductions, improves neuroprotection, and even anti-cancer protection. The nootropic seems to have GABA mimicking behavior, which is considered the main mechanism for how ashwagandha works as an anxiety reducer. Medhya Rasayanas are a group of medical plants which described in Ayurveda with multifold benefits. Medhya means intellect and Rasayana means therapeutic procedure that on a regular practice which will boost nourishment, memory, immunity, health and hence longevity. Medhya Rasayana works on retard brain aging and nerve immunity, which boosts to open subconscious mind.
Certain plants and chemicals that will influence your brain in certain ways. And they know that some of those substances they can actually turn off certain parts of the brain functioning. And then the deeper functioning of the mind needs to come to the surface. And so absolutely, if there's nootropic qualities from the plants or the chemicals in the pill, then that can actually help open the doors of perception. The part to be careful about is there's a special balance, because if you do too much, then suddenly you're only having hallucinations instead of psychic perception. So there's a difference, because psychic perception will reflect what's really happening at some other location. For example, with remote viewing or clairvoyance, to see what's happening somewhere else. If the mind opens a certain way, maybe using these nootropics, then it'll help receive the information better. But if someone takes too much and they're just hallucinating, then they enter some sort of dream state. They're not actually able to perceive reality. Their mind is creating false images. So it's a matter of balance.
Brain waves. Every part of your body vibrates to its own rhythm. Your brain is made up of billions of brain cells, which we call neurons. Neurons use electricity to communicate with each other. The combination of millions of neurons sending signals at once produces an enormous amount of electrical activity in the brain. The combination of electrical activity of the brain is commonly called as a brain wave pattern because of its cyclic wave-like nature. Our brain has a unique set of brain waves. In neuroscience, there are 5 distinct brain wave frequencies, which are alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma. Learning mind control at deeper states of consciousness opens you up to the world of your subconscious mind, where you can create your reality at will. Each frequency measured in cycles per second has its own set of characteristics representing a specific level of brain activity. Brain waves can be detected using sensitive medical equipment such as an EEG, measuring electricity levels over areas of the scalp. They provide an indication of the mental state of an individual. Beta frequency ranges from 12 Hz to 30 Hz. Beta brain waves are associated with normal waking consciousness and a heightened state of alertness. As you go about your daily activities, you are at beta, although important for effective functioning in everyday life. Higher beta levels translate into stress, anxiety, and restlessness. The voice of beta is little nagging chatterbox of your inner critic. Alpha frequency ranges from 8 Hz to 12 Hz. Alpha brain waves are present in deep relaxation with the eyes usually closed and while daydreaming. The relaxed, detached awareness achieved during light meditation is characteristic of alpha. It lies at the base of your conscious awareness and is the gateway to your subconscious mind. The voice of alpha is your intuition, which becomes clearer and more profound the closer you get to 8 Hz. Theta frequency ranges from 4 Hz to 8 Hz. Theta brain waves are present during deep meditation and light sleep. Theta is the realm of your subconscious mind. It is also known as twilight state, as it is momentarily experienced as you drift off to sleep from alpha and arise from deep sleep from delta. A sense of deep spiritual connection with the universe can be experienced at theta. Vivid visualizations, profound creativity, exceptional insight, as well as your mind's most deep-seated program, all are at theta. The voice of theta is silence. Delta frequency ranges from 0.5 Hz to 4 Hz. The delta frequency is slowest and is present in deep, dreamless sleep and in very deep transcendental mediation where awareness is completely detached. Delta is the realm of your unconscious mind. It is the gateway to the universal mind and all collective unconscious. Delta is associated with deep healing and regeneration, underlining the importance of deep sleep to the healing process. While doing psychic powers, we can see enormous change in our brain waves, which can be detected by using dry electrodes headsets. Telekinesis trainer Sean McNamara shows that how our brain wave pattern changes from their mean positions while doing psychic powers like telekinesis.
You see me looking up at the ceiling now, and that's because I just want to clear my head. I don't want to focus on the object yet. And I want to see what the signals do while I'm looking up or looking away from the object. But soon enough, I'll turn my attention to the object and we'll see what happens. There are 5 colors here, and each one reflects a distinct wavelength. The red is for a delta, which is normally associated with deep sleep. Then the purple one is theta, which is involved with meditation, healing work, things like that. Alpha is a light daydreamy state or light meditation. Beta is correlated with the waking state, logical thinking. And gamma, I don't know too much about. They don't talk about it very much. So I don't know what happened here. The signal seemed to drop down into the negative, and now it's coming back up again, and the object is starting to move, which is interesting, that the waves come up and the object is moving.
Isochronic tone for telekinesis. Each and every sound in the universe shows some impact on our brain. There are some specific frequency tones which shows unique impact to our brain and also helps to improve psychic powers. Isochronic tones are one of the many tools from brainwave entrainment. Brainwave entrainment is nothing but the use of sound waves to alter our brain waves with a specific wavelength, which can navigate our brain waves to psychic frequencies. Using specific isochronic tones, we can tune our brain waves. which leads to get psychic level. The current thinking on this subject is that moving the brain waves to a specific wavelength and holding it there for a specific amount of time will cause the effects normally associated with that specific brain wave. Isochronic tones work by emitting sound at regular intervals. The intensity of sound goes almost directly from 0 to 100 and back again in the evenly spaced manner. Widely regarded as most effective tone-based method, isochronic beats produce very strong cortical responses in the brain. The fact that it works, it is odd that this kind of technology was already discovered nearly 200 years ago in Vedas. There are specific brain waves like theta which have been associated with psychic powers like telekinesis, telepathy, ESP, and other all psychic abilities.
The brain is always producing all the brain waves, but in different concentrations. Delta is when you are full asleep, not even dreaming, completely unconscious, sleeping, and that's when your body is healing during the night, where everything in the brain is very stimulated. So when people feel extreme joy or loving kindness meditation, when it's very concentrated, that's gamma. Some people think gamma has to do with telekinesis, but what I've found so far, when I put on my EEG headset, alpha and theta waves concentrate a little bit more, like in tune. Interestingly, delta spikes more. Delta is with deep sleep, but why is delta spiking when I do telekinesis? But overall, the brain waves do reflect a level of tension and relaxation. And so when I'm more tense or more stressed, the telekinesis doesn't work. So when the brain waves reflect more relaxation, we see that the telekinesis starts to happen.
When the brain is given a stimulus through the ears, eyes, or other senses, it emits an electrical charge in response, which we called as cortical evoked response. These electrical responses travel throughout the brain to become what you see and hear. When the brain is presented with a rhythmic stimulus, for example, drum beat, the rhythm is reproduced in the brain in the form of these electrical impulses. If the rhythm becomes fast and consistent enough, it can start to resemble the natural internal rhythms of the brain. When this happens, the brain responds by synchronizing its own electric cycles to the same rhythm. This is commonly called as frequency following response. Frequency following response can be useful because brain waves are very much related to mental state. For example, a 4 Hz brain wave is associated with sleep. So a 4 Hz sound pattern would help reproduce sleep state in your brain.
He would play sound of one frequency in one ear and a slightly different frequency in the other. And he found out that the brain would produce another frequency in the middle to fill that gap. And that is how you could use sound to influence the brain directly, that the brain will respond to the different frequencies in either ear. So if the different brain waves, beta, alpha, theta, delta, have different frequency, like 8 hertz or 12 hertz, influence your mind to produce that frequency. Let's say you want 8 hertz, might have a frequency of 12 hertz in one ear and 4 hertz in this ear. And then the brain will actually start to, or sound experience of 8 hertz inside the brain, third frequency. And that's the frequency that will directly affect a person's level of consciousness. And then they can explore their psychic ability or meditation or relaxation. It's good to find a trustworthy source. So like the Monroe Institute is a very trustworthy source. They've done a lot of scientific study with the hemisync sounds. I'm sure there are many, many other people also able to produce the similar effect with isochronic sounds or with the binaural beats.
There are many isochronic softwares available in the market. Binaural beat recordings are specifically generated sounds designed to alter our brain waves and consciousness. The basic idea behind binaural beats is that our brains operate at certain bandwidths. When we are in the meditative state, then our brain operates at theta frequency. If we are very active or a little stressed, then we operate at beta frequency.
You know that the sounds will work on your brain, and the brain can get the subconscious mind powers and all those things. Yeah, if you see it, nowadays they have given some scientific names and all, but in the reality, it was been already been developed in India very well. So Indians basically mantra, what they do it. People started taking it in a misleading way that it is a religious thing and all, but actually these are the medical terms, which the medical methods of controlling the brain power. So if anybody is having lots of psychological problems, in the olden days they used to give one mantra and say that chant it for so many days. Like nowadays you can see that they'll give some medicine and they'll say take it for so many days. In the same way they used to give it that mantra and say chant it for so many days, like 40 times, 108 times per day, and definitely you'll get results. And that is actually working out on the mind. So the mantra is nothing but the bijakshas. Bijakshas are those words which are having that different types of vibrations. So what happens is when the two bijakshas interlink together, there is a specific sound which has been produced. And that sound is one of the most powerful sounds which actually directly activates your brain and your subconscious mind. And through that, many problems were being solved at that time.
Similarly, in ancient Indian Hindu religion, there is an isochronic tone generator, which was called as Ghanta in Hindi, and in Western countries it is known as bell. The Ghanta can produce high-pitched sound when it rung. The sound of bell works to disengage mind from ongoing thoughts, thus making the mind more receptive. From Kundalini Yoga perspective, the sound of bell energizes chakra and balances the distribution energy in the body. In Silpa Shastras, it is mentioned that bell sound is made of Panchadhatu, 5 metals: copper, silver, gold, zinc, and iron. These 5 metals represent the Panchabhuta. Then only the Ghanta high-pitched sound energizes chakra, and it is also acts as natural isochronic generators, which leads to theta frequency to attain psychic abilities. There are bells specifically made to produce the long strains of the sound Om. Pranava, the sound of creative Om vibration, which referred as a mother of all sounds. Om is the most sacred sound in our universe. The syllable Om is also referred as Omkara. The goal of chanting Om is to realize Shakti and energizes of chakra. While reaching this goal, we can enjoy excellent health and many other benefits by simply chanting Om. According to Hindu mythology, the sacred sound of Om encompasses all 3 phases of energy. In the great book, the Apocryphic verse 1.27 of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra links Om to yoga practice. Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. Tasya means his, Vachaka means designation, Pranavaha means Om. It means his designator is Om. Patanjali is giving us a method to reach the divine consciousness. So if your vibration can change your consciousness by initiating a particular vibration, then the consciousness can be changed. History evidence of psychic powers which related to ancient Indian mythology.
In Indian mythology, a lot of specific things that have been told. For instance, Shakuni in Mahabharata was able to roll the dice specifically, systematically, whatever he wanted, he was able to actually roll the dice.
There are many cases where we have also come up with some of the cases where the people will be with very low aura, and these people, we basically call them as energy vampires. Aura transforms. If it is high, it goes low, just like water. The aura also just flows. So when a person is really in a low aura and he's very much low, and he's having some problems, and when these people come down and talk to us, many times, many people also face this kind of problems where they'll tell us that after we spoke, we are really tired, we are not able to understand what is happening with us and all. That is called energy vampires. And when there is an energy vampire around you, and if you feel that he is very low with aura, there are specific breathing exercises which you have to do it to control that aura. In the olden days, actually, in Indian philosophy, there is a Rudraksh. Rudraksh was developed for this reason only. Rudraksh was being worn by many medical doctors, many yogis, many sadhus and all this one. Why they used to wear it? Just to safeguard their aura. So when they are actually wearing that, because they always are solving problems to those people who are in the weak aura and who are in some problems. So when they go to them, they know that their energy immediately being sucked away by them. So to keep their energy safe, they basically wear Rudraksh. In the same way, the mythological world also in India, like Ramayana, in that one also if you see, the Vali was actually an energy weapon. Even though he's got a high energies, but he got a tactics to how to suck the other person's energy. That's the reason he was able to defeat everyone. But Vali never used to mess up with Hanumanji. They say that Hanuman and Vali, they never fought in Ramayana. Why? Because Hanuman actually, he knows the tactics, how to deal with that energy weapons. And he knows the breathing techniques and all these things. That's the reason Vali never fought with Hanuman. In this way, there's a lot of games which happens with aura. If aura goes low, aura always will not be the same. It will go low, it will come up. In temples, whatever we go and all these things, actually what we are doing is, we are actually regaining that aura. We are regaining our energies back so that a positive energy is there with us and we are going back. So that's the reason they'll say that after you are feeling dull or anything, go to a temple and come back so you'll feel more energetic. That's the actual technique why they go to the temples.
Psychic powers are known as siddhis. The Yoga Sutra of says Patanjali in Book 3 called Vibhuti Pada, in which Patanjali details the psychic powers and the methodology for their attainment. Psychic powers which can arise due to yoga practice. A translation of Sutra 3.8 is in comparison to the seedless and unbound goal of enlightenment.
Parapsychology has to still do a lot of research to find out whether all these are actual truth or just concoctions. But if they were concoctions, they could have concocted even more better, different kind of things also. But most of these have some kind of a basis, some kind of a technical name and some kind of a Sanskrit name which specifically mentions that this is the ability that people have.
Samyama is to be viewed as a coarse and external component. In other words, a state called Nirbhija Samadhi. Walking on the water is a trivial compared to what you really want to achieve. For example, if one focuses on another person in Samayama, one becomes other person. The siddhi that arises is what we call telepathy. Approximately 25 siddhis are listed in the third book of Yoga Sutras. An exact number is difficult to pin down because the abilities may interpret it in different ways and there is some overlap also. But it is possible to view all these siddhis as variations on three basic classes. Exceptional, which is related to mind-body control. Clairvoyance, which includes precognition and telepathy. Psychokinesis, which is related to mind-matter interaction. Out of 25 siddhis, 6 siddhis fall into exceptional, 15 fall into clairvoyance, and 4 fall into psychokinesis. Siddhi 3.17, knowledge of the meaning of sounds produced by all beings. Siddhi 3.18, knowledge of previous births and arising of future births. Siddhi 3.21, disappearance of body from view. Siddhi 3.22, foreknowledge of birth, harm or death. Siddhi 3.23, loving kindness in all. Siddhi 3.24, extraordinary strength. Siddhi 3.25, knowledge at a distance. Siddhi 3.26, knowledge of outer universe. Siddhi 3.27 to 28, knowledge of the inner universe. Siddhi 3.29, knowledge of the composition and coordination of energies. Siddhi 3.30 Liberation from hunger and thirst. Siddhi 3.31 Exceptional stability, balance or health. Siddhi 3.32 to 36 Vision of higher beings, knowledge of everything that is knowable, knowing of the origins of all things, knowledge of the true self. Siddhi 3.37 Siddhis may appear to be supernormal, but they are normal. This is not a description of the Siddhi, but rather a caution to avoid regarding or attaining the Siddhis as unnatural or supernormal, as that could become a distraction of sustaining and deepening Samadhi. Siddhi 3.38 Influencing others. Siddhi 3.39 Levitation. Siddhi 3.40 Blazing Radiance. Siddhi 3.41 and 42 Clairaudience.
So internal based is basically a martial arts. If you see karate, kickboxing and all these things, they basically work on the external fighting systems. But there are internal martial arts also. These internal martial arts, what they do is, the first thing is they start building up your internal energies. That is, internal energies is chi.
The practice of Qigong have a great effect for those trying to use sea balls or telekinesis, as well as for a good health and mental state of being.
To build up an internal energy, the most important thing is control of the mind. And they first work on how to control the mind through different types of movements and different types of exercises. They start controlling that mind. And once the mind starts getting under control, then the chi starts flowing in the body. Once the coordination between the body, mind and soul is correctly set, then they start slowly coming into the external part and they start creating an energy. This energy can be used as a psychic energies. In the same way, it is being said in Tai Chi also, that a Tai Chi person can just touch your body and he can actually activate your heart. He can attack your heart and he can actually create a problem with the hearts. It's because the way they project that energies and the way they push that energy into this. But there are certain records which tells that actually the Qigong has come from yoga. Many people nowadays, what yoga we are doing it is just an physical exercises. But there are certain exercises in yoga which are being done that called Sukshma Yoga. And these are the exercises which are very important. So basically before you do yoga, these are the exercises which you have to do it. Qigong and all, if you see, they will be very closely related to this Sukshma Vyayam and Sukshma Yoga. This technique went from here to China through Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma was a person who took it. Bodhidharma went to China. He saw that the monks in there are a little bit weak. They are not able to have so much of strength and stamina to meditate. They are not able to do their daily works. They have lots of problems. Then Bodhidharma taught them 18 techniques of exercises, which now you can see that is what became Qigong, and then later on it became Shaolin Kung Fu, and so many Kung Fus has come up.
The manipulation of psychic energy formed in a ball or any shape at that matter. Its uses can range from healing, telepathy, or even telekinesis. Many claim they have been able to throw it at objects, causing them to move. Masters of Qigong are able to manipulate the Qi inside of them. The ability allows them to cool or heat up anything they desire, such as water. They can also make their bodies lighter or heavier. And they can heal physical bodies using electrical or thermal currents given by their Qi. The best display of such feats we have seen so far by Master John Chong, who, expert with electricity, dedicated himself as a healer by using their mental abilities. He says his power derived from daily meditation of ancient secrets accompanied by art of Qigong. Master Chang treats his patients by conducting electrical shocks to the ill parts of their bodies. He is able to create the electric currents by bringing forth his negative energies from the lower half of the body and the positive energies from top half of the body. Under scientific testing, Chang was able to light up an LED bulb. He gives playful shocks to anyone who touches him. Master Joe is also a mystic healer, specializes in using energy to create heat and send it into pressure points without the use of needles. He learned to harness his energy while growing up in China. He claims that he can help people with the problems such as headaches, stomach problems, fertility issues, and even cancer.
So in Tai Chi and all these things, when we learn, keep understanding the martial arts and we go further deep inside the martial arts, there are different types of martial arts which works on only on this kinesis, psychic kinesis and internal energies, hydrokinesis and all these things. There is one good example about it in iron palm tactics in Tibetan martial arts and all these things. There's a different method of using the palm that's called iron palm tactics, they used to call it as. But in iron palm, there is different types. One is a burning palm. In the same way, there are certain strikes, like when we used to practice it, they used to demonstrate certain strikes where they used to put some water, put it above the water, they will not even touch the water, might be in this side, and when you start moving the hand, water starts moving inside. And there was one more demonstration which I have seen. It was where they asked us to keep the hand like this, and they put the hand over my hand like this, creating this distance. And after some time, when they close their fist there, we can feel that actually they are holding our hand and closing the fist. When we close our eyes, we'll immediately feel that actually he's holding our hand and he's clenching it, but he will not be holding our hand. His distance will be so much and he will be clenching it, and you can feel that he's holding this hand. So these are some of the techniques, amazing techniques, which the advanced practitioners of Tai Chi and Iron Palm and all internal martial arts guys practice.
History of psychic research in America. The Stargate Project. Stargate Project was a code name for secret US Army unit established in 1978 by Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and SRI International to investigate the potential of psychic phenomenon in military and domestic intelligence applications, and published by CIA. The project and sister projects went by various code names: Gondola Wish, Grill Flame, Center Lane, Sunstreak. The Stargate Project created a set of protocols designed to make the research of clairvoyance, out-of-body experiences, and remote viewing. The term remote viewing emerged as a shorthand to describe this more structured approach to clairvoyance. Stargate Project work primarily involved remote viewing. Gifted Chinese children performed teleportation. In the 1980s, a spate of children in China were found to have special abilities. Some of these children were tested under the supervision of Chinese official National Defense Science Commission. According to studies published in scientific journals at the time, these children successfully moved some small objects through psychic barriers and through space without touching them. First round of experiments was published in the journal Jiran Jaji and was titled Some Experiments on the Transfer of Objects Performed by Unusual Abilities of Human Body. In these experiments, the children are moved small objects like watches without ever touch the objects. Experiments was published in Chinese Journal of Somatic Science and was carried out by the Aerospace Medicine Engineering Institute in Beijing. High-speed photography and videography was used to monitor these movement of objects. brain-to-brain telepathic communication achieved for the first time. An international team of neuroscientists and robotic engineers have demonstrated the viability of direct brain-to-brain communication in humans. Recently published in PLOS ONE, the highly novel findings describe the successful transmission of information via the internet between the intact scalps of two human subjects located 500 miles apart.
And exciting news has come from the meeting of science and technology. Once again, telekinesis is actually becoming a reality. An international team of researchers have actually successfully transmitted data from one brain to another without the use of sight or sound.
In the neuroscientific equivalent of instant messaging, Pascal Lioneau, together with G. Ruffini, Mitchell Berg, leading a team from Axilium Robotics, leading a team of researchers from Star Labs, Barcelona, successfully transmitted the words hola and sio by using computer-mediated brain-to-brain transmission from a location in India to a location in France using internet-linked EEG and robot-assisted and image-guided TMS technologies. They are using technology to interact electromagnetically with the brain. A computer translated the words into digital binary code presented by a series of ones or zeros. Then this message was emailed from India to France and delivered via robot to a receiver, who through non-invasive brain simulation could see flashes of light in their peripheral vision. The device, which sits over participant's head, can interpret the electrical currents in the participant's brain and translate them into binary code called Bachan's cipher. This type of code is similar to what computers use, but more compact. In this illusionary world, all objects are moved via energy. There are many forms of energy, but the ones that come into mind are chemical, electrical, magnetic, thermal, many hidden energies. They can be converted into one form to another. Like electrical energy moves things when chemical energy that heats up the things. As we know, energy creates movement, as the same thing as done behind the psychic powers. Some hidden energy is playing key role, but there is no solid evidence that the psychic ability does exist. However, there is no true evidence that totally disapproving psychic ability. Many scientists and paranormal investigators have conducted tests, but most have come out inconclusive. There are many evidences that disproves the psychic abilities. A majority of cases were frauds, and few cases were unable to prove either way. But according to Russians, they got their government support also. They find some true psychic cases. It's entirely in different perception as compared from America to Russia. The mainstream and origin of psychic powers are come from ancient India. There are many countries like Germany, Russia, China, and America to take a step to research on Indian yogis, sadhus, because they have hidden psychic powers. There is a basic problem encountered by those who trying to use scientific method to prove psychic powers. Whenever one begins to investigate new phenomenon, he needs to start from some aspect of phenomenon which is linked to present theory. In case of psychic powers, there are no such type of theories or link. Telekinesis is an interesting ability. However, it lives in the world of fiction until someone can prove that it does truly exist. If you literally take all the energy from the neurons in the brain, which are about 20 joules, and multiply it to a certain degree, now all you need to find a way to convert that into kinetic energy and direct it. There are different way of approaches to get psychic powers, which are originated from ancient India. Techniques like meditation, yoga, and Qigong, which is one of the ancient Chinese technique which is originated and adopted from yoga, and Ayurvedic nootropic medicines. There are many more ways that all are originated from ancient India. Many countries are adopted these techniques from India, which is proven in the history. The concept of psychic power was raised in 18th century by Western countries, but it is already well established in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Indian Vedas. Those are written about 2000 years ago. In that, we can get the information what are the siddhis and how to get the siddhis, which are nothing but psychic power. The precious Indian treasure is ancient Vedas, but nowadays Indians are neglecting them, but some countries are very much interested to get the knowledge of these Vedas.
Yes, it does exist.
Yes, it exists. It is there. And it has been proven, and we have lots of records on it. And there are so many proofs also which are there around us. And lots of research is now also going on this. So it is there.
Of course, it is really exists, like a natural abilities of every human without exceptions.
In my experience, in the past, I came across psychic powers.
Yes, they definitely exist. You know, some people refer to psychic powers as superpowers or something that spiritually evolved people can do, but personal opinion, and I think also the scientific data shows that it's a natural ability.
The psychic phenomena which is explained in this documentary is just a segment of Indian Vedas power. Actually, we didn't try to convey new thing. We tried to memorize the forgotten and neglected knowledge of powerful Indian Veda through this documentary.